In 1968, Apollo 8 astronauts became the first humans to orbit the moon. And as they sung around the far side of the moon, completely cut off from any radio contact with Earth, astronaut Jim Lovell, he looked out into the void and said something unexpected. He said, "I feel like there are more than 3 of us up here." He couldn't explain it. No religious vision, no sudden apparition, just an unmistakable sense of presence of something else or someone else. And years later, he still maintained that we were not alone up there. Today, on the Feast of the Guardian Angels, we hear a curious reading from the book of Nehemiah. The people of Israel gathered to hear the words they had forgotten, and when they remembered, they wept. But Ezra told them to stop crying and start celebrating, because they discovered again what it means to be accompanied, what it means to be not forgotten. And that's precisely what angels reminds us of. We think of them as, maybe cosmic bodyguards or spiritual secret service agents, swooping down to prevent disasters. But what if they are more like an unseen companion in the dark? What if they are the inexplicable strength that comes precisely when you have nothing left? Guardian angels, they aren't about a magic protection. They are about presence. Think of the presence that watches over an infant sleeping, not because the child achieved anything, but simply because its existence brings joy. Let me tell you another story. In 2010, a mine in Chile collapsed, trapping 33 miners nearly half a mile underground for 69 days. The world held its breath. Rescue teams drilled, families in prayer. And the men below survived on scraps of food and sheer determination. Later, when they were finally pulled out to safety, one of the miners said, "There were not 33 of us down there. We were 34. God never abandoned us." And many of the miners echoed that same sentiment. They spoke of an unseen companion, a presence that strengthened them when their spirits were breaking. That is the work of guardian angels. Not always winged figures in paintings, but the quiet certainty that God does not leave us alone. They stand with us in our caves and collapses, whispering courage when our own voices fail. And Scripture itself is full of such moments. Remember Hagar cast out into the wilderness with her son Ishmael, ready to give up. An angel opens her eyes to see a well of water close by. Elijah, worn down and ready to die in the desert. An angel touches him, feeds him, and says, "Get up, or the journey will be too much for you." Over and over again, when despair closes in, heaven does not send an army, but a messenger, quiet, close, and practical. The Jewish tradition has a beautiful midrash that says, I wish Father Willie was here, it's one of his favorite. He says, "A procession of angels walks before a person wherever he or she goes, blowing trumpet and announcing, 'Make way for the image of the Holy One.'" Think about that. Every person you meet is so precious in God's sight that angels go before you and clear the path, proclaiming your dignity or announcing your arrival. Here comes the image of God, make way. And if we actually believed that, we might drive more politely on the highway. I was at a nursing home 2 days ago. I got an unexpected call to anoint a dying woman. The staff, when I reached, told me that she had been talking to someone in the room from last night. Someone the staff could not see or understand. And I have heard such stories often. Patients or people in their final hours whispering, "You have finally come," or "I was waiting," or softly saying, "I now see the light and I am not afraid anymore." Words like that. We can't explain what goes on there. All we can do is stand in reverence, recognizing that death is not entered alone. Our guardian angels are there with us. So, what do we learn from this feast today of the guardian angels? That these angels are not just fantasies for children, but reminders of a truth we adults often forget. We are never alone. Sometimes they look like a nurse at midnight, or a stranger offering direction, or even a child's laughter breaking through your sadness. And sometimes they are that unshakable sense, as Jim Lovell said from The Dark Side of the Moon, we are not alone. And most of the time, when things all work out well, we have called it luck. Today, learn its name: guardian angels.